Hi, this is Bishop Craig in Lansing, and this is take one for the week of the 13th of February. Peace be with you. Happy Valentine's Day. I've said that several times today to people. I say it remembering the decade when I didn't have a Valentine and recalling that this can be a difficult day. And I'm sorry for those of you for whom this is a difficult day because you don't have someone special. I guess I would say to you that God is your Valentine. God is your Valentine. And I know it's not the same as having someone special, but what I mean to say is that God is your Valentine. You are special to God. You are not less than or incomplete because you don't have somebody special today. So I know that these words of mine may ring hollow, but they are nevertheless true. God is your Valentine. And for those of us who are blessed to have a Valentine in our lives, this is a good day to not take them for granted and to be appreciative, mindful of people who are alone or who are wanting a relationship. So, happy Valentine's Day. I have a really busy week this week. Tomorrow is Tuesday, and I will go to the Kalamazoo conference at 11. And then on Wednesday is the staff meeting and the conference, the Region 6 bishops. It's a bishop week this week. And then on Thursday is the deans and conference bishops. And then on Sunday, I get to go to Trinity in Grand Rapids to install Carrie Fast as assisting pastor, I believe is the title that Trinity Grand Rapids uses for their third pastor. And so I will install Pastor Fast as assisting pastor. So that's an exciting week. I had to be edited last week. I did the recorded sermon. And in that sermon, I made an explicit reference to the fact that for the big game, I almost said it, the ELCA does a world hunger kind of competition between the two synods where the teams are from. One of them is Southern Ohio, where my friend Bishop Suzanne Dillahunt is bishop. And the synod that collects the most for world hunger is the champion. And in the video, the sermon, I did not use the word big game. I used the words Super Bowl. And I was advised that the NFL doesn't want us to use that word. So because I used that word, we had to take that little sentence out. But the good news is, even without my help, my endorsement, my mention in a sermon, the Southern Ohio Synod was victorious. And so we congratulate this synod in our region for being the World Hunger champs. And it is not too late to contribute to World Hunger. If you go to the ELCA webpage, World Hunger, if you send a check to the synod, it is not too late to give to World Hunger and to be a part of that effort. So I invite you to do just that. The reading for Sunday is a toughie. It's a toughie to hear. I need to take care of the last verse first. It ends, a good measure, pressed down, shaken together, running over, will be given to you. And over the decades, this has been used as a stewardship verse, a transactional stewardship verse to say, if you give to the church, you will get more back in return. If you give to the church, you will get more back in return. And in a sense, you will. You will get more meaning. You will get probably more peace. You will get to see the world more as God sees it. You will participate more in God's work of reconciling the world to God's very self in Jesus. So you will get more back. Where the church over the decades has gotten in trouble is when they said, basically, we said, not our time, but decades ago, that if you give, you'll get more cash back. You know, and so this verse doesn't mean that if you give cash, if you give to the church a good measure of cash, pressed down, shaken together, running over, will be given to you. I need to say that because, I wrote a book called Preaching in Stewardship, Proclaiming God's Invitation to Grow, and I read about the history of stewardship. And that's how this verse was used. If you want a great book to read, it's called In Search of the Almighty's Dollar. And it's about stewardship, fundraising, money in the Protestant church in the United States. It's a great read. So I commend it to you. The other thing I would say about this text is the first verse is hard too. Jesus says to us who will listen, love your enemies, pray for those who hate you, bless those who curse you. I guess it's pray for those who abuse you. Do good to those who hate you. And that's really tough stuff. And then Jesus goes on to say, if you only do good to those who do good to you, what good is that? Everybody does that. Even sinners do that. So Jesus is calling us to treat those with whom we are at odds in a loving way. One commentator asks us to imagine how ridiculous that would be, is if someone abuses you and you say, well, I'm going to pray for you, and you actually pray for them or even pray with them. Jesus goes on to say, if someone slaps you in the face, offer them the other cheek. If someone says, wants your coat, give them your shirt. I imagine that kind of behavior, as risky as it is, would be disarming to the other person. But it's a message I think we need to hear, because we are so divided, and it is so easy to return what we receive. So Jesus, I think, is inviting us to take a breath and to hear him inviting us to do better. Early in my ministry as bishop, I was in a situation where I had to deliver some difficult words very early in my ministry as bishop. And the pushback quickly became hard and personal. And I wanted to, like a human being, kind of lash back. And I was very blessed because in that setting, I had a pastor, retired pastor, standing behind me, quietly saying, you need to respond like Jesus would. You need to take the high road. Don't get upset. You need to be the bishop. And maybe I did well, maybe I didn't, but I did a lot better than I would have done if I didn't have that pastor standing behind me. And I am forever grateful. And I think Jesus is standing behind us in these divisive times, reminding us that we need to do better. We need to take the high road. We need to respond as Jesus would. Because the bottom line is, Jesus is asking us to respond to others the way that Jesus responds to us. So we are extending the gift that we have received. And if you want to see how hard that is, go to the first reading, which I think is the story of Joseph confronting his brothers. And you may need to go back and read the whole Joseph story. It's a Bible story, so it's like, well, of course that's how Joseph would respond. No, think of it realistically, and you'll see what an amazing thing it is that Joseph did. So this is a reading inviting us to take a deep breath and to respond to one another in what are some pretty difficult days, the way Jesus responds to us. I pray that I can do it. And I pray that you can do it as well. This is Bishop Craig, and this is Take One. And may the peace of Christ be with you always. Take care.